Let me share something that will challenge everything you thought you knew about success. You aren't waiting for success. Success is waiting for you. It's been there, ready to rush into your life the moment your thoughts, words, and actions align with what you truly want. You don't have a problem with money, relationships, or even time. The issue is alignment. And today, we will address that. You don't attract what you want. You attract who you are. This is a commonly misunderstood fact about the law of attraction. Many believe that just wanting something strongly is enough to bring it into their lives. But desire alone isn't the key. When you want something from a place of lack, you send a message to the universe that you're incomplete, which pushes away what you want. A mindset filled with desperation, neediness, or emptiness signals to the world that you're not in harmony with what you are seeking. If you say you want wealth but feel scarcity in your mindset, you may find yourself trapped in a cycle of barely getting by because your identity is tied to struggle. Your thoughts, beliefs, and habits reflect that scarcity, so when an opportunity for wealth comes up, you might not recognize, accept, or maintain it. Not because you don't want it, but because you haven't yet become the person capable of managing it. You must change your identity before transforming your reality. This principle applies to all parts of life. If you desire love but carry unresolved trauma, insecurity, and bitterness, you won't attract a healthy relationship. You might meet someone, but they won't align with the kind of love you're truly after because your energy, emotional state, and internal dialogue speak louder than words. You can't bring in what you haven't become. You need to create a safe space to hold it. The real work isn't in chasing after relationships. It's in healing and becoming the version of yourself ready for one. People often think the law of attraction is a passive process, where visualizing and thinking positively will bring change. But attraction isn't passive. It's active. You don't attract things through hope but by embodying them. You must be like the person you want to be right now. Show up early, finish what you start, and speak confidently. Not because you're pretending, but because you're training your nervous system to normalize the very things you desire. The universe responds to who you are being, not what you're wishing for. If your inner self is filled with fear, doubt, and self-pity, the outer results will mirror that. This isn't punishment, it's feedback. It's an invitation to rise to a higher level, change your standards, and shift your beliefs. You don't fix your life by changing the outside. You change it by transforming within. When your inner self changes, the outer world will follow. We live in a universe that mirrors our experiences. What happens to you reflects who you are. If you face chaos and limitations, it's time to examine your thoughts, self-improvement, and patterns because all of that shapes your expectations. You can't claim abundance while speaking about lack. You can't ask for peace while constantly choosing conflict. Alignment must be complete, and energy must be consistent. You become magnetic when your thoughts, emotions, words, and actions all agree. That's when the law of attraction functions effectively. People will say you're lucky. No, you're aligned. They may say that things just work for you. No, you've worked on yourself until your external reality caught up with your internal truth. This isn't luck, it's law. It's cause and effect. When who you are matches what you desire, that connection is unavoidable. This is why personal growth is the strongest investment you can make. As you grow, your world expands. As you rise, your surroundings reflect this growth. The places you enter change, the conversations you have evolved, and opportunities that were hidden begin to appear because you've become someone who can recognize, understand, and nurture them. You've raised your standards, and when you do that, everything else has to rise to match it. Most people want results without change. They want the fruits without tending to the roots. But until your identity shifts, your outcomes will remain stagnant. You can read all the books and attend all the conferences, but if you're speaking abundance while embodying scarcity, the universe listens to your state of being, not your words. This is why doing the deeper work matters. This is why becoming is more important than wanting. You don't get what you desire. You get what you believe you deserve and what you're ready to handle. You bring in what your energy, thoughts, and habits invite. The way to have more is not to want harder but to grow better. Show up each day as the version of yourself who already has the life you desire. Do that until there's no longer a gap between who you are and what you want. Success isn't something you chase, it's something you align with. That statement changes everything the world teaches you. From childhood, we hear that we must hustle, grind, and chase our dreams. We're told that if we work harder and longer, success will eventually catch up. But what if success isn't behind you? What if it's ahead, waiting for you to become the version of yourself that naturally attracts it? When you are always chasing, you operate from a mindset of separation. You see success as something out there, distant, apart from who you are. When this is your mindset, no matter how fast you run, you reinforce the belief that success isn't meant for you yet. True success stems from alignment, where your thoughts, beliefs, habits, and emotions sync up with your desired outcomes. When your inner world matches the outer world you want to inhabit, doors will open. The right people appear, ideas flow, and your environment starts to align with your internal state. That's alignment, and it is magnetic. It doesn't require struggle. It requires clarity and consistency. When you are aligned, your actions feel intended rather than forced. You move forward with confidence because your vision isn't just a wish, it's a certainty. You don't act out of desperation or anxiety. You're not bothered about whether things will happen because you already are the person for whom good things are happening. You're not pretending. You're living a reality that your inner alignment has already made true. Alignment means integrity between who you say you are and how you actually live. If you claim to be building a legacy but keep making choices based on comfort, you're not aligned. If you say you want growth but flee from discomfort, you're not aligned. Results don't lie. Alignment produces fruit, flow, and ease, not because life becomes simpler, but because you gain clarity, focus, and don't get distracted by things that don't serve your future. You can't align with success if your habits are rooted in survival. Many chase goals while holding on to fear and scarcity. They hustle out of fear of loss, not readiness for victory. Fear-based actions may yield short-term results, but they won't bring lasting success. Long-term success is born from inner peace, clarity, and direction. To align with success, you have to assess every facet of your life: your mindset, your language, your relationships, and your routines. Ask yourself, does this align with my goals? If it doesn't, it's not neutral, it's resistance. The gap between you and your success isn't crossed by speed, it's bridged through alignment. Sometimes, the most productive action is to stop, reflect, and realign with your purpose before moving forward. Many people are not lacking strategy, they're lacking alignment. They know the material, they've read the books, but they're not internally synced with the outcomes they claim to want. They sabotage, procrastinate, or quit halfway, not because they're lazy, but because something inside them isn't aligned with their goal. Until that inner agreement is formed, no amount of outer effort will compensate. Once your identity aligns with your intention, success becomes a natural outcome, not effortless, but instinctual. You won't question every move. You won't feel like an imposter. You won't need constant motivation, and you won't drag yourself toward the goal. You'll flow in sync with it. You will be the kind of person that success gravitates toward. You will no longer chase because what once felt distant is now approaching you. This is the feeling of alignment, a clear mind, a calm heart, and steady action. You won't be forcing or begging. You're not overwhelmed by the journey. You are transforming into the destination. When who you are matches what you want, the pursuit ends because success must meet you where you are. Your words carry weight. They are commands to the universe. Each time you speak, you aren't just sharing, you're creating. Language is the tool we use to shape our reality, frame our ideas, and bring things into existence. Most people speak without awareness, oblivious to how their casual words influence the outcomes they later complain about. Your tongue is not just a tool for conversations, it is a powerful instrument. When you speak, you are setting things in motion, whether for good or ill. Your words plant seeds, and every seed grows. Some are reaping a lack not from hard work but because their language fosters weeds instead of fruit. They say things like, "I'm broke. Nothing works out for me. I'm just not that lucky," without realizing they're giving the universe instructions that affirm their statements. The universe does not differentiate between your desires and your dislikes. It responds to what you consistently declare. So when your speech is filled with doubt, worry, and complaints, you're not merely expressing emotions. You're crafting blueprints for your future. You're telling the universe, "This is what I expect. This is what I accept. This is what I want more of." Even if that's not your intention, it doesn't matter since repetition shapes your reality. What you say repeatedly becomes your truth. Your subconscious mind, which governs 95% of your actions, takes everything you say as reality, especially when expressed with emotion. Every word becomes a program written into your internal operating system. If you say you're tired, overwhelmed, unworthy, or unlucky, your subconscious believes those truths and begins filtering your experiences to match. This is not superstition. It's psychology. This is how beliefs form and solidify. Words are powerful tools for creation. Everything was created through words, and this principle remains unchanged. You possess the same ability to craft your world with your words. When you speak with clarity, intention, and belief, your words shoot out like arrows. They don't vanish, they get to work. They seek alignment, shift energy, and either open doors or close them based on the frequency they carry. Your words are the currency of creation. This is why it is crucial to speak life over your finances, family, health, and dreams. Even when things seem contrary, your words should not reflect your circumstances, but rather your vision. You are not a reporter of the present. You are a commander of the future. This requires discipline and awareness. You can't let anything slip from your mouth and expect your life to progress with power. Many don't realize they're prophesizing over their lives every day. Every sentence is either a seed for growth or a sword for destruction. It's either constructing a bright future or tearing it down. Once you grasp this, you will pay close attention to your language, rejecting phrases that don't serve your destiny. You will stop joking about failure, stop expressing defeat just to fit in, and stop allowing emotions to dictate choices you don't wish to make. Speaking in line with your vision is not deceitful, it's foundational. It's not lying to yourself, it's steering yourself. It shapes your reality and chooses to vibrate at a level matching what you desire, not what you fear. Your current situation may not mirror your future yet, but your words must guide you toward where you intend to go, not where you have been. The moment your words align with your mission, you become a magnet for the extraordinary. Even in uncertain times, you must guard your words, not aiming for perfection, but remembering that your words hold power. Even when you feel weak, the universe is always active. Each whisper, complaint, or declaration is a command, and these commands start creating long before you see results. So when nothing appears to be happening, something is still in motion. Your words are constructing your reality even before your eyes can perceive it. This isn't about being high and mighty, it's about accountability. You are responsible for what you speak because you're the architect of your world. You don't merely declare what you notice. You speak what you seek until you manifest what you've declared. Every day, you write your future with your words, and the more you recognize this, the more deliberate you become in ensuring your tongue serves your purpose. Instead of "fake it till you make it," try "fake it till you manifest it." This phrase isn't just catchy, it shifts how you approach growth, success, and identity. Faking suggests pretense, wearing a mask, pretending to be someone you're not, hoping reality eventually aligns with your act. but pretending lacks power and sustainability because it disconnects you from authenticity. Faith, however, anchors you in a future reality that you already know is yours, even if it's not here yet. Faith is substance and assurance in the unseen. It aligns with what you believe is already completed. When you move in faith, you're not fooling yourself. You trust the journey and walk in concord with your destiny. You might not have physical proof, but you carry the internal evidence that is more influential than any situation because it relies on belief, not visibility. Faking is external, focused on appearance, while faith is internal, rooted in transformation. Faith reflects in how you let belief reshape your thoughts, habits, words, and demeanor until your life displays what you've accepted as true. You don't play a part, you become the reality. You show up as your future self before the world recognizes it. A confidence emerges from faith that pretense can't imitate. Faking is fragile, easily broken under pressure, while faith remains strong, anchored in purpose. When you act in faith, your actions become intentional. Your energy is pure, and your motives are sincere. You are not trying to impress anyone. You are honoring the person you know you are meant to be. You don't chase validation. You move with vision. Faith keeps you grounded as you grow. It gives you the strength to enter spaces you might not feel qualified for just yet. You don't pretend to belong. You walk in the knowledge that you've been called. And when you're called, you arrive boldly. You don't retreat. You don't apologize for your presence. You claim your place at the table, not because of past achievements, but because you already sense in your spirit what's on the way. Faking seeks approval. Faith seeks harmony. You aren't looking for permission to succeed. You've granted yourself permission through your belief. You're not waiting for the world to acknowledge your potential. You're activating it by showing up, speaking life, and acting as if it's already done. You're not performing for applause. You're preparing for manifestation. That's the distinction. Faith requires action. It doesn't linger and wish for change. It proceeds as if changes are already done. You make calls, take steps, and construct your vision bit by bit because you trust the blueprints in your heart are real. You don't require the entire picture. You only need the next step. Every step generates momentum, strengthens belief, and brings the unseen into view. One of the most perilous traps is believing you must have everything together before you start. That's why many people resort to faking, thinking that perfection is the prerequisite for progress. But faith doesn't demand perfection. It seeks movement. It requires compliance with the call, even when details are hazy. It calls for courage to proclaim the ending from the beginning, to tread into the unknown, believing that what lies ahead is far greater than what's behind. Faith carries a particular frequency. It radiates power in your tone, clarity in your decisions, and tranquility in your posture. People can feel the variance. Faith doesn't need validation. It simply exists with an authority that is quiet yet resounding. When you project that level of inner certainty, the world around you starts to shift to accommodate your belief. Circumstances begin to bend, opportunities start to surface, and people respond differently. Not because of pretense, but because your faith creates an undeniable presence. To faith it until you manifest means living in harmony with your purpose before your outcomes materialize. It signifies speaking as if, acting as if, and believing as if until the if transitions to is. This isn't about feigning character. It's about consistently being present as the person you're evolving into until you naturally embody it. If you wish to attract more, you must become more. That straightforward truth is one of the most potent keys to transformation. Many spend their lives striving for greater things, money, love, recognition, without realizing that the external world is merely a reflection of their inner self. You cannot pull something greater into your life than who you are ready to be. The level of what you attract will always align with who you are. People pursue outcomes without upgrading their identities. They desire success but stick to small habits. They seek wealth while thinking with a scarcity mindset. They pursue meaningful relationships but operate from a shallow emotional foundation. What you draw in is not about your wish list, it's about your capacity. And capacity grows by becoming more, broadening your vision, refining your discipline, and elevating your standards. If the results haven't shifted, it's not the world that needs to change, it's the level you operate from. Everything in life shifts with vibration. You won't get what you want, you'll receive what you resonate with. If your daily thoughts, energy, routines, and internal dialogue don't match the level of what you're after, it won't stay, even if it comes your way. You might accidentally stumble into something good, but without growth, you won't have the strength or wisdom to hold on to it. Thus, becoming is the genuine route to abundance. You attract by matching, not by wishing. This isn't about doing more for the sake of doing. It is about becoming more, in essence, thinking, leadership, and character. The business you desire requires you to be a different version of yourself. The relationship you're yearning for demands more growth, maturity, and dedication. The life you dream of requires more discipline, faith, and focus. You cannot carry your old self into a new season and expect to thrive. Transforming is necessary to elevate. There lies a gap between where you are and where you wish to be. The only way to fill that gap is through growth, not external shortcuts or lucky chances, but through deep personal development. When you become more valuable, intentional, and refined in thought and action, you begin to naturally attract opportunities that match your new level. It's not about chasing success, it's about becoming a magnet for it through alignment and growth. Growth isn't glamorous. It's a stretch. It is uncomfortable and requires you to confront aspects of yourself you've been avoiding. Yet, greatness requires letting go of what no longer fits. Who you were served you in one season, but if you want more, you must become more. This involves releasing excuses, playing small, and fitting into environments that don't reflect your future. Becoming more isn't about becoming someone else. It's about fully stepping into who you were born to be. It's about awakening the untapped potential hidden under fear, doubt, and procrastination. You don't need to be perfect, you need to be dedicated to growth mindset, doing hard things, raising expectations. You can't pull in greatness if you settle for mediocrity. Attraction results from alignment, with alignment beginning in becoming. The universe doesn't reward desire, it rewards preparedness. Are you transforming into someone who can carry what you're asking for? Can you be trusted with the level you envision? Can you hold the blessings you say you want? If the answer is no, then it's time for inner work and expanding who you are before expecting more from the world around you. Becoming more means mastering small tasks, showing up with excellence even when no one is watching. It means saying no to distractions, even when easy. It means training your mind to think beyond limits, your heart to believe beyond fear, and your body to act with intention. In these quiet, disciplined moments, the version of you that attracts more is built, not in the spotlight but in the shadow of consistency. This journey isn't about quick victories, it's about long-lasting transformation. If you desire more, you must become more. Becoming more is a daily choice. The decision to rise, to grow, to embody the person whose life reflects abundance naturally, aligned with who you choose to be. Stop reacting to life and start creating it. Most people go through life on defense. They wake up responding to alarms, messages, emergencies, and other people's priorities, continuously putting out fires instead of intentionally building something meaningful. They're always reacting, adjusting, and trying to keep pace. But life isn't meant to be survived, it is meant to be designed. You are created to create, not just cope. Reacting is passive, living from the outside in. It means allowing circumstances to decide your energy, mood, and direction. It's waiting for something to happen before you take action, shift, or change. It keeps you in a holding pattern, waiting for permission, signs, or a breakthrough. But in living like this, you relinquish control. Your surroundings dictate your responses. One negative conversation can ruin your day. One mischance can deflate your confidence. One person's opinion can derail your forward momentum. That's not freedom, it's slavery to unpredictability. Creating your life flips that narrative, putting control back in your hands. You were designed with the capability to imagine, choose, speak, and act. These are your creation tools. You're not stuck unless you choose to be. Every day is a blank canvas. Your thoughts, words, and choices are the strokes of your brush. You can't control everything that happens, but you can always influence how you react. That first response is your initial act of creation. It's the first indication that you are no longer passively letting life occur. You are steering it. Creating your life starts with a vision. What do you want? Who are you becoming? What does success look like for you? Not what others think, but what aligns with your spirit. Without vision, you'll continue reacting to whatever is the loudest or most urgent, confusing movement with progress. But once clarity strikes, you begin making choices aligned with your destiny rather than distractions. You must also master your mindset. A reactive mind stays in survival mode, scanning for danger, problems, and threats. Conversely, a creative mind thrives in purpose mode. It sees possibilities, asks better questions, and focuses on solutions, growth, and things that can be done instead of what's wrong. Your mind can either be your master or your servant. The difference lies in whether you're reacting or creating. Creating your life doesn't mean you control every result. It means guiding every moment with intention. It's about establishing emotional resilience. You decide how to show up, speak, and think. You're not waiting for motivation. You're driven by purpose. You're not looking for perfect timing. You maximize what you have and make it worthwhile. You stop perceiving life as a series of problems to solve and start viewing it as a masterpiece to be created. This shift isn't a one-time commitment. It's a daily practice. Every day, you must choose. Will I react or create? Will I live by old patterns or carve new paths? Will I echo the past or mold the future? You don't need a perfect plan to start. You just need a decision to take a step in the direction of your vision and then another until momentum is unmistakable. You weren't sent here to be a victim of your environment. You were meant to influence it. You carry creativity in your spirit, authority in your voice, and strength in your decisions. Life responds to those who take control. It opens up for those who dare to create. Every result you see around you began as a thought, word, or choice. So if you want something different, don't wait. Create it.